Need, want.
Hey guys, this is William. I'm here at another property tour. This one's in Hemet, and that was just the owner who just purchased this property behind us. And I'm going to do a little interview with her because normally I don't get a chance to do these interviews with the property owners, but she's one of the investors in our community of Positive Impact REI Group. And what we do is we actually go out and we help people do some amazing things. We teach people how to pay down their loans. We teach people how to get out, use their credit more wisely. We teach people how to get into real estate investing, whether it be a fix and flip, wholesale, multifamily, or want to start to get into commercial. So it's anything from pretty much dirt to skyscrapers. I mean, we've got something there that will help you learn. So it doesn't matter where your real estate knowledge is, or even if you've got none and you've got no credit, and it's some place that you want to start, we're here. We're a community. We're local. We're here in Southern California. We're not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, we're not just here in Southern California. We're actually in about 44 different states and 60 offices with about 60,000 members across the United States. So let's do this really quick. Kim, come here. You bought this home. Tell us how you found this home.
I actually found it through a probate attorney as I was closing out my mom's probate. I actually told them that I fix and flip and asked them if they had any properties, and they did.
And so it was just a little discussion that you had with the attorney. He just wanted to know what you're doing. Come on in.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah. So it was just a simple discussion that you had. You let him know what it is that you do. And from that, he just got back with you and said, well, I've kind of got this project.
Yeah, actually, he had 3 properties. He and one of his other partners in the firm. They pretty much just do probate. They're a pretty big firm known out here in the Hemet
Bitten
area.
by a bug.
Oh, that's
Sorry.
not good. So we went to go look at 2 of them. One was the Flea House, and it was horrible. But a realtor had found a buyer, gotten a hold of that one, and then found a buyer. We put in our bid, but it wasn't accepted. So we came to look at this one, and unbeknownst to anybody, we had a couple of beehives.
A couple of beehives
in the house.
But you didn't take putting on your investor cap. You know?
Yeah.
Didn't you just like grab the queen and start a honey business?
Yeah, should have. I even called a friend of mine who owns his own boxes and say, hey, you want to put some boxes out here? So no, he didn't come out here to do it,
Oh,
unfortunately. But yeah,
honey's a good commodity.
It is a very good commodity.
So you ended up picking up this house.
Mm-hmm.
Out of curiosity, how many square feet is it?
You would ask me. It's just under 200.
No, it's more than 200 square feet. I would say this is probably close to 14. This is 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Yes.
3-bedroom, 2-bath.
It's like a semi-ranch.
Yeah, it's got a really nice area in the back. So the fun part about this is you're moving some things around in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll show the pictures actually are going to be in that post later about what that looks like, because right now we've got a good 40 people in there right now doing a property. Yeah, it's tight. It's tight. So when you picked up this property, we're in a community that is very calm. And the reason why it's very calm is it's a 55 plus community, right?
It is. Mm-hmm. In
So,
the city of Hemet.
In the city of Hemet. So these property values aren't very high because they kind of move in and stay here until they pass on.
Correct. The majority of the time, that's exactly what happens. Or they become so infirmed they can't keep up with the house, and family winds up you probably moving them to some place where they can.
And that was kind of the situation here, right? Where the woman got to a point where she couldn't control everything that was going on with her life, and then she ended up passing.
She ended up passing here, I believe, in the house. I believe. I can't confirm that. But she developed cancer later on in her years, and she passed away from the cancer.
And so the house was left to
her 2 daughters.
Her 2 daughters,
Mm-hmm.
and that became a problem for them. They needed to get rid of it because obviously there was a lot of pet urine. The house smells like money. Trust me, the house smells like money.
Yeah.
And they've ripped out a lot. But this has become a problem, and I want to highlight that just briefly because a lot of people think that as investors we're out there just to screw people and take their property, and you're actually solving a problem that a family actually had.
Exactly. I don't know why it stood for so long. I don't know if the siblings couldn't get along with each other. or they just were overwhelmed and still just didn't know what to do with this property. And I don't know anything else about the probate, so because that's not for me to know. I'm just interested in the house.
Right.
So I actually became a problem solver for that attorney for this part of the estate.
Okay.
And so they came to an agreement. We came to an agreement. I came in with what I could do. And so I went in, walked around. They let me look and take pictures and do measurements. And I went home and calculated what it was going to cost me to do what I needed to do. And then I came up with a number.
So let's talk numbers really quick. You ended up making an offer. They wanted retail. What is retail in this area?
Retail in this area is about $225.
$225, and that wasn't going to happen with all the pet urine and all the stuff that was going, the nicotine stains on the walls and
the overgrown backyard.
Yeah, the
fruit trees.
Even right behind us, like right there.
The
like,
electrical.
Look at all that. It's a lot that they're pulling apart.
Yeah, the electrical had to be updated in a lot of areas of the house. We had some electrical that wasn't working.
Oh, wow, okay.
So we were able to pull from our own community. He happens to be an electrician, and he's in our very own real estate community.
That's Chris working at the door today.
Exactly, exactly. So he came out, and we were able to give him work, and he was able to give us a fair deal. So.
Right on. So you ended up making an offer on the house, which was rejected at first.
Mm-hmm.
What did you end up settling on?
$144.
$144. And so all said and done, you guys are probably looking at making about $30,000, 25 to 30?
25 to 30. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And right now we're under budget, which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
And we thought we were going to be a week overdue for putting it on the market, but it looks like we're going to be on target. I don't think we're going to be any more than maybe a couple of days.
Right on. And you did find, you were showing me earlier in the kitchen that you found a good shortcut for your kitchen cabinets. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Because sometimes cabinets in a kitchen can be like a really big part of the budget.
Yes. So we decided to take out and open up the... Good morning.
Good morning. Come on in.
Come on in. Hi.
Up that direction.
Sorry,
There you go.
That's okay.
Yeah, no problem.
We took out a wall,
Uh-huh.
and that meant we had to rearrange what we were going to do for cabinetry, because we all know in kitchens, especially if you're a woman and you like to cook, and I like to cook. So
I like to cook.
I gotta have my... Hi, guys.
Hello.
I like to have
Good morning.
my... I like to
Oh, the electrician's kids are here.
Yeah. I need to have my cabinet space for all my little gadgets that I have. So we wanted to make sure we still had that. So we came up with another form, and it looked like they actually flipped it from what it was originally, because you would open up a cabinet and there would be an electrical junction box in the cabinet.
So part of your negotiations was when you were talking with the attorney and you said, look, this is the best I can do, because sometimes when I get into these properties, there are unexpected things. And so far, you've got 2 unexpected, 3 technically. I mean, you could see that the overgrown trees and bushes.
That's the minimum.
That was the minimum. But then you found out about the electrical.
And the
then
bees.
And the bees. Okay, well, that's a bonus. We'll just call that a bonus.
Yeah, it was.
But then you found out that the kitchen was actually swapped around. So, I mean, now that becomes a little bit of a problem.
With pipes, electrical, and the safety thereof, because we have to meet code. So we were finding capped off gas lines in the walls where you wouldn't expect to see it. But once we pulled the base cabinets out, we were like, oh, okay, this is where the stove was. Not where it is now. Okay.
There's some interesting stains on the kitchen walls, too.
Yeah, we have a lot of nicotine, a lot of grease, stuff that has to be all taken care of and sealed. But I mean, that's to the person who doesn't understand investing, they would see that as like, oh no, I don't even want to deal with that. For me, I get excited because now I've got something to negotiate with.
Yeah, absolutely.
And most times, especially with probate attorneys, they're like, Kim, just make me an offer and we'll negotiate. We'll negotiate as best we can. I'll talk with the clients, but I need to move this. I need to get rid of it. So
you were showing me a little bit earlier these stains that were a foot down from the ceiling, and it just looks, well, like running snot, sort of.
So what you're looking at is both the husband and wife were smokers.
Uh-huh.
And so when we took the popcorn ceiling down, what you do is you soften it with water.
Right.
So of course everything on the edge was just draining off and coming down, but what you're seeing is you're actually seeing the nicotine. Well, you have a choice. You either have to clean that. If so, you need to kind of, put your mask on, you need to put glove up, you need to do all that so you don't receive any of the nicotine, because it's still there.
So I'm starting to think that you might have had another opportunity. You could have scraped the walls and you could have opened up a vape company.
Ah, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Don't
do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
You're giving me ideas. Okay.
That's totally illegal. But you got to have fun here, because one of the rules that we have to have is you got to have fun, because right now we're standing in 85-degree weather and we're both baking.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Kim here. She's sweating. I'm sweating. So, but now that you got this whole thing wrapped up with the attorney, and you got your offer and you got it accepted, what was the most exciting part about getting the keys and starting on this project?
I think the whole exciting thing about, just having a vision for the house, breathing new life into it, and knowing someone else is going to enjoy it for the next 15, 20, or whatever God allows that person to have breath, stay here. But I think for me, it was the hunt, so to speak. Sorry, it was the hunt. It was putting together the money. Yeah, because it's not I only use part of my money, but I'm not using any of my credit. The reno budget is not mine. It's coming from someone else. It's learning all those little things. So you don't need your own money. You don't need credit, and you don't really need experience, because you have people here that actually will hold your hand and walk you through. And that's what I was looking in a community. And this real estate group was the first group out of many I have been to in the IE, the OC, and in the outskirts of San Diego. Sorry, it just wasn't there. So when I found this one, I actually sat there for 3 months doing my due diligence, going, at some point the other shoe's got to drop. This is too good to be true. And then all of a sudden...
So what you're saying is all the people here in Positive Impact REI Group actually are doing what we promised months ago when you saw us.
Yeah, and more.
And more.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah, they actually
that's fair.
are.
I was going to ask you. That wasn't.
You say you are.
Okay, that's
which is good.
That's fair, because I was going to tee that up and ask you about what you thought about the community, but that just came right out in an authentic, genuine way, and I really appreciate that, because we've been working really hard to build a reputation for who we are, and it's by invitation only to come into this group.
Right.
And what do you think about that methodology when you first heard about it?
I think it's awesome. In my former life, I was in law enforcement, and our best recruiters were actually us, boots on the ground, doing the job. People would come up and talk to us, and so I think it's great that we all go out there. The people happen to notice what we do. We kind of talk about it with our family and friends, or somebody will say, "Hey, how's that house coming?" And oh yeah, I got another house, and all this other stuff. So it's very contagious. I'm like, well, why don't you come out and see what we do? Why don't you come to a property tour? I tell you what, I'll meet you and we'll go for a meeting so you can see what we do. And that's what I did. I was actually there for someone else, doing something else, and this person walked up to me and said, oh yeah, because I noticed her sign on her car, and I just kind of inquired. And it all came out, and I'm like, okay, I'll go check this one out. I'll probably be like all the rest. Y'all talk good, but ain't nobody doing nothing.
We put you in handcuffs and dragged you in, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I went in there, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. And so I did.
Notice the body language, because that's how everybody shows up with their arms crossed.
Yeah.
I know more.
Exactly. So when I found out about the education, that totally changed everything and blew my mind.
Well, let's talk about the education briefly. I mean, without jumping way deep into it. I mean, what are some of the things that you learned from there that you didn't know before that might have helped you with this project, or helped you in your financial life, or just planning out the rest of your life? Oh
yeah. Well, I'm starting to plan my life and live it by design, not by default. I have learned that.
Default is what?
Whatever everybody else tells me to do. Yeah. I need to be here doing
the school system, right?
Yeah. You're working for someone else. Yeah. Which, don't get me wrong, I love my job. I really do. But it's this. We
all love our job. You're not a loser for staying in your job.
No.
You're just not ready to step into the entrepreneurial experience.
Exactly.
The entrepreneurial experience, it's courageous.
Yeah.
You got to be courageous.
It's a big step.
It is.
It's a big step. You got to be prepared for it.
So by living your life by design, what are, just give me the top three things that you came from the education in the community? What did you pick up on that just made total changes for you?
Velocity banking paid off all my debt except for a few things. Still working on that. Short-term rentals. I picked up a property in Bullhead, Arizona.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, getting that ready for the snowbird season. I learned about taxes, how not to pay too much in taxes, how much to save, how to stay out of trouble with the government, and pay what I'm supposed to pay.
Have you made it down to single digit in taxes yet?
Not yet.
Not yet?
But I'm getting there.
You're getting there.
I'm getting there. It's going to take time.
That's okay.
There's still stuff
I
I'm
asked
still
that question because a lot of people go, oh man, just because you're an investor, I mean, I'm sorry, I have to bring in politics briefly. Like, everybody gives Trump crap. Everybody gave Mitt Romney crap for not paying their taxes. Well, the tax system exists to incentivize those who create jobs, provide power, provide food, provide things for the community that the government sucks at. So that's what the IRS system allows us to do. That's what the tax code. We don't play by a different set of rules. We just use the rules differently. Is that a fair way of saying it?
I'm still paying my fair share. We still need to pay for things, for infrastructure,
Yeah.
for law enforcement, for schools. I
But
get it.
But I mean, like, now that you're making this shift, the money that you're going to be seeing yourself making in the future,
Oh,
what
yeah.
causes are dear to your heart that you want to contribute your time or your money or your knowledge to, that the government doesn't do, in your opinion?
Provide safe, clean, affordable housing, and for seniors as well. Our aging population. I'm getting there. So we're all getting there.
I just turned 50 this year too.
Well, I've got you beat. I just turned 59. So.
What? No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did. God's been good.
That's it.
Thank you. God's been very good.
Wow.
But yes, just and making my own retirement. So even though I am getting a retirement from other places that I've worked, I'm not old enough to collect that yet in some other of my other jobs that I've had. So I don't have to worry about that. I can be comfortable. I can go out. I can show other people how to do this, pass it on. You know, show get my nieces if they want to be interested in this.
So we have a lady here by the name of Pat. Did you meet her? She's like this tall.
Might have.
Okay, so she's got two daughters. Both of them are UCLA graduates. Both of them have exceptional degrees, and they're spending her inheritance money. Let's put it. Let me rephrase that. They're spending their inheritance money in their own company, building their real estate investment company.
Oh,
so they're
awesome.
building their inheritance that they're spending right now. So let's back that up. Mom has money that she earmarked. Oh, Kim's gonna go back in. So they're spending the money that mom made, okay, and they're putting it into the company that they're doing right now to fix and flip real estate. And with that, they are building their own retirement account bigger and larger, and they're using it for their own company. Now, there's a whole nother story about that, and I'll be more than happy to share that on another time. But right now, I just want to get back in there. Kim was just called back in because this is her house, and she's going to go do a testimonial real quick as to what she's learned, which is what you just got. So anyway, if you wanted to come check us out, again, we're Positive Impact REI Group. You can see us on the web as Positive Impact REIGroup.com, and you can see who we are, what we're about, and how we do it. There's no collection of information on there. It's just an informational site. The only way that you can get attached to us is to go through people in our community. So again, we build a community of people that we know, like, and trust, and we build those relationships over time. So if getting into real estate is something that you would like to do, or if getting into paying off your home from 30 years down to 7 to 10 years is something that you want to do, you want to get rid of your student loan debt finally, or pay off a car faster, we can show you exactly what that looks like. Or, I mean, right now everybody pays way too much in taxes. They complain about it. You know, we've got a meeting to show you and talk about that, and we'd be more than happy to. We're not here to sell you, because quite frankly, there's a lot of people out there that want the information, and all we want to do is we just want to get it in as many people's ears as possible, so that we can improve our communities and improve our neighborhoods and improve everybody's future. And yeah, it might be an altruistic type of a situation, but really, I mean, what are we here for? Can't take it with us, so might as well pass on knowledge. I mean, if we weren't passing on knowledge, why did we have libraries? Why do we have written language? Why do we have any of this documentation like I'm doing right now? It's all just pass on this knowledge to help out the future generation. That's really what we're all about. Okay guys, thank you so much for paying attention to this last 20 minutes, and I will see you soon. Just go ahead and reach out through a message below, you know, in the Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're seeing this video. And I'd love to just have a conversation with you and see what your situation is and show you what we're doing, and possibly we could make a connection and build something together. Have a great day, guys.